Well, it is a really, really miserable day today. It is chucking it down with rain and we've got about 50 mile an hour winds. This is the second day of 50 mile an hour winds and it was windy all night and it's going to be windy all day today. And today, unlike yesterday, we've got the addition of really heavy rain. So it's miserable. There's not going to be any outdoor gardening happening. So I thought I would do my first cooking video. So this could go well or it could go horribly wrong. So here's all the ingredients here. I'll give you a little challenge. Look at the ingredients we've got here and have a think about what I might be making. We have plain flour, and I've got some organic plain flour there, some baking powder, some salt, and I have got pink Himalayan salt. It's a little bit more the minerals in it are a little bit better than the sort of processed salt that we normally use. I've got some castor sugar, I've got some milk, and I've got some eggs. And I'm actually going to use some of my quail eggs because I've got quail eggs coming out my ears. Although chicken eggs are what the recipe calls for. And then I've got some virgin olive oil and I've got a sort of butter spray for cooking. Any ideas? Yeah, I'm going to be making pancakes. And I'm going to make a batch of pancakes, and pancakes are great because we particularly like a little lunch of a pancake with some bacon and maple syrup. That's lovely. That's Tom's favourite, I think. And the pancakes that are left will store really well for a few days. I believe you can actually freeze them. I've never tried. They don't last long enough. But I quite like just a toasted pancake with some butter or jam or whatever. So that's how we consume the rest of them. So what do we need for our pancakes? Flour, plain flour, and it's 270 grams of plain flour, or 9.5 ounces. Some baking powder, and the baking powder is 2 teaspoons of baking powder, followed by a teaspoon of salt. And as I said, I'm using this Himalayan pink salt, but white ordinary salt will do. Then we need 4 tablespoons of castor sugar, 260 millilitres or 9 fluid ounces of milk, and I've got semi-skimmed milk here, although I dare say you could use skimmed or indeed full fat milk. And then it calls for 4 tablespoons of melted butter or virgin, not necessarily virgin olive oil, but I use virgin olive oil, so I'm going to use olive oil in mine. And then 2 large eggs. Now I've got chicken eggs and I've got quail eggs, but I've got more quail eggs than chicken eggs so at the moment. So I'm going to use quail eggs, and for every chicken egg I normally substitute 5 quail eggs. So I'm going to use 10 quail eggs in this recipe. Or you could use 2 large chicken eggs. And that is us. Now, as I said, I'm using quail eggs in this recipe, and one of the questions that I'm forever asked is, you know, how easy is it to use quail eggs? And actually, I mean, they are tiny. Let me just get a chicken egg. There's a typical chicken egg in comparison, so they are teensy weensy, but they have got a lovely taste. They've got a lovely little yolk and white in there, so just the same as you would find in a chicken egg, but obviously in smaller quantities. Let me put this away. The biggest hassle really is getting into the egg, but it's not really a hassle if you have a pair of these, and these are quail egg cutting scissors. And you've got a hole there and a blade there, and basically you pop that over the egg and you snip it, and it snips off and it's a fat end rather than the pointy end. You do it, you snip off the fat end, and then you just pour the contents into whatever you're going to be cooking it with. So if you're scrambling or making omelettes or even frying or poaching, it's fantastic. You just snip this off, pop it in to the however you're cooking it or putting it in a bowl or whatever. It's a little bit more hassle if you're boiling and you want to peel this, because of course there's for the size of the egg there's quite a lot of peeling involved compared to the what you get at the end of it. But it is worth it actually, and I've known people to make all sorts of delights with boiled quail eggs. So let's just get 10 of these measured out into this bowl, because and then we can start putting everything else together. So as I said, you just take the fat end, you put that in there, and then you just cut like that, and you get the top off. I'll just pop that in that rubbish there, and there we have it. And there we have, oh now can we see this? Can we see it? Let's just go behind the camera to see. There we have a little rinky dinky quail egg. So I'll do that for another 9 of them, and we shall then get started with the rest of the recipe. I put the shells into my compost so we don't waste anything. There we go. Okay, let's get the wet ingredients sorted out then for the recipe. So what we're wanting to do is to whisk together the eggs, the milk, and either melted butter or oil. So I'm going to use olive oil, and it is 4 tablespoons of olive oil. So I've got my trusty measure here. I'm going to put 4 tablespoons of olive oil in here. There we go. Put that there. 4 tablespoons of olive oil, the eggs and the milk, and the milk is 9 fluid ounces or 260 millilitres. So put all that in there, and then I'll give it a whisk. Okay, that's the wet ingredients done. Now the dry ingredients we just sieve into a large bowl. So let me get my sieve and my large bowl, and we shall put in the plain flour. Okay, and plain flour, and then we're needing, along with that, 2 teaspoons of baking powder. Teaspoon. There we go. 1, 2, and then we are needing a teaspoon of salt. Whoopsie. And as I said, I'm using this pink Himalayan salt. And you can see it there. There we go. And we shall put in a teaspoon of that. And then some caster sugar, and it is 4 tablespoons of caster sugar. So here is my caster sugar, and we want 4 tablespoons. One, 2, 3, 4. Okay, Get this sieved in. And the caster sugar. There we go. Right, let me just clear this away. Okay, so we've got all our dry ingredients in one bowl, we've got our wet ingredients in the other, and basically now we just combine the two. So just as easy as this. Wet ingredients into dry, and then basically I'm just using the whisk to combine them all together, and this is going to give us a sort of batter. So we just need to keep mixing it until, hopefully you can see that, yeah, until it is smooth. Now you can use a fork for this, but I prefer to use my trusty whisk, and there you should be able to see it's nice, a nice smooth batter. Now this should make about 8 medium-sized pancakes. Okay, right, I'm just going to clear away some of the ingredients here, get them out of the way, and then we will start cooking. Okay, I've got my trusty little frying pan here, and what I'm going to do is use this Fry Light 1 cal spray, which is a delicate butter cooking spray, this one is, and I just put a few sprays in there, and then I'm going to have this down at probably a low to medium heat, and then the idea is just to, and I'm just taking a ladle, and then I'm just going to ladle in however much I want for the pancake. I've got my oven on as well. If you hear a hum there, that's just so that I can keep the pancakes warm. And so the idea is just to leave that now until I see the surface bubbling, and then that should be ready to turn. And when I turn it, I'm just going to lift it up. I'm going to pop a little bit more of that spray in, and then I'm just going to flip that over to cook the other side. Oops. So it shouldn't take too long. And then we'll have a nice little stack of pancakes. I'm beginning to see the odd little bubble. You don't really want to be sort of playing about with it too much while it's cooking. It shouldn't stick because I've put enough of that little sort of spray, and then it won't be long before we can flip it over. I'm not going to do anything exciting like try and throw it, you know, flip it by flipping it with my hands or anything like that. I am not that mad because it would definitely go where it shouldn't go. So that's us now really. Hopefully you can see that it's getting a bit more bubbly in the surface there. Now this is the tricky bit for me, because what I want to do is put a little bit more of this spray in, so I'm just going to hold that up and then put it in. And there we can see our pancake. So I'll just let the other side cook and that'll be one done. I can pop that in the oven to keep it warm and get the other done. Now, I've not tried this, but I have eaten pancakes where people have sort of mixed into the batter things like banana and maybe blueberries or raspberries or something, and the banana ones were fantastic. If you wanted like a sweet pancake, I might try that next time actually, where you make up your batter, you put chopped up bananas into it and then you cook it and then cover with caster sugar and serve it like that. Or you could even put cream in it if you wanted to be quite decadent, and that's absolutely scrummy. But these pancakes are destined for some for lunch with bacon and maple syrup, and the rest just to be kept so that we can toast them as and when we want to and have them with butter or jam. Okay, I think that's us. Number one. I'll put that in the oven. And we'll get more on the go. Okay, I think that's me. It is. Okay, let's see what we have. Just put this on. Whoops, daisy. To my stack of pancakes. Yummy. Oh, just drop that. So yeah, I didn't quite get 8 because I made some of them quite large, but there you go. So these will keep us going for a while, starting with lunchtime today. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please try making these, they really are worth it. If you've enjoyed the video, please give me a thumbs up, and let me know in the comments actually what you think about me including some cooking and baking and whatever food related stuff in my channel. And yeah, I'll talk to you again very, very soon. But for now, bye bye.